Good afternoon. I'm glad that you're joining us today. My name is Rich Garey. I am the Navigator Trail Master for Troop OH360 in Valley View, Ohio. We're coming to you today from the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. It is April of 2020, and this is part of the COVID-19 isolation seminars that we're doing to help keep our boys on edge and keep them knowledgeable with outdoor skills. This video is being filmed as part of a regional meeting. It's the skills part of that meeting. So with that being said, today we are talking about maps and compasses. And you can see right here that they look pretty confusing. They look like they could be intimidating, but the secret is you need to know that what we're going to talk about today, you are about to learn the easiest of all outdoor skills. So that being said, let's get started. What is a compass? A lot of people will wonder, what is a compass? A compass is basically a magnetized needle that floats freely, and then magnetized end of that needle will always point to magnetic north, or a north that is located at the very top of the globe, kind of at the top of the North American continent, but not the North Pole. Magnetic north is different from true north, which is the top of the North Pole, which is where, Santa Claus lives. So there's the top of the globe, and then there's magnetic north. So there's two different norths we're going to talk about today. And so we have all this to do. There's, you can tell north without a compass, basically. If you understand on a sunny day that the sun travels from east to west across the sky, you could put a stick in the ground and you could track that shadow as it goes across. And at night, you could tell north by finding Polaris, or finding the North Star. And then you can always look up and see the Big Dipper, and those two stars on the end of the little cup of the Big Dipper line up and point straight up to a dim little star called the North Star. It's not a very bright star. You have to kind of study for it and find it. But once you find it, you'll be able to find it every time using the Big Dipper. Now, our resources for today, Map and Compass has many resources. You could go into a library and find all kinds of great books. But you, as a trailman, you need one source. And that one source is the Trail Life Outdoor Skills Guide right here. Everything you need to know about Map and Compass is located on this guide. Moms and dads, your trailman needs a copy of this guide. It has everything you need to know about maps and compasses, about the maps on the back, orienteering to true north, all kinds of topics, triangulation, everything you need to know right here. Here we have natural ways of finding north, all detailed out. These guides are available at the Trail Life store. They are a great resource. You can buy them as a set with the camping guide and the first aid guide, and we strongly point you to this as your reference. Get a copy of these. So that being said, another natural way, we have the daytime way, the nighttime way. If you're at a Trail Life event, there is a third way. A lot of people don't know this, especially if you're not in our region. If you could locate Jim Ramey, generally within his hand reach at all times is bacon, and bacon is almost always found on the north side of Jim Ramey. But that's just something for our area and our region. If you're not in that area in our region, it's a joke you may not understand, but we do enjoy to have some fun. So, compasses come in all shapes and sizes. And who's seen Pirates of the Caribbean? Jack Black's compass right here. All right, you can just Jack Black and his little toy compass. Even though this is a toy compass from a fast food restaurant, it still points north. We have little toy compasses that come with a little dial like this. They're not good for navigation other than that they're going to point north if they're reliable. And this one is still working. And this is a very old compass. Compasses go back in history a long time. Here's a replica, one of my most favorite compasses. This is a replica of the Lewis and Clark compass used by Lewis and Clark. And this was a memento given to me in my days working with the Woodlands Trails at Troop OH360. And so this is kind of what Lewis and Clark would have used. And this compass is also pointing north. So, but they come in different ways or different types. This is a base plate compass, and this is a mirror compass right here. And so a lot of you will say, well, what kind of compass does my trailman need? Right here, this is what your trailman needs. It could be either a Silva brand, which this is, or it could be a Sanuto or a Brunton. They all make a compass that looks like this. This is about a $20 compass. It is a base plate compass, and I put a lanyard on it so I wouldn't lose it. And this one just happens to be manufactured by Silva, which is my preferred brand. But if you get one of those other name brands, they're all reliable. They're all a good quality compass. And if you buy a good quality compass to start with, and you take care of it, trailman, and you don't lose it, it will serve you all the days of being in trail life and beyond that as you adventure off into life of being just a general, well-rounded outdoorsman. And so get a good quality compass. So basically, what is a compass? A compass is a magnetized needle that is floats freely. And if it floats freely, it always points north. Okay, so this is the ideal one, but I have a demonstrator compass, and I'm going to bring it over here to this map. And the demonstrator compass, at this time, if you do not have your outdoors guide and you downloaded this handout, it's time to look at this handout. So parts of an orienteering compass, orienteering or base plate compass, they have different parts. This is the Silva demonstrator compass, and they have a base plate, a square or rectangle base plate that shows some measurement lines on the side. It has a direction of travel arrow. A base plate compass will have a dial. This one may be hard to see, and if I get my thumb under it, it'll spin around, and it won't. There we go. Spins around. It has a pretend magnetic needle. Inside we have all the points around the compass, starting at 0 degrees, which is north, working our way around to 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees is west, and then when you come up to north again, 360 degrees are in a circle, or 0 degrees is north. So inside the dial, you'll see some lines right here and right here. These are called the orienteering lines. And inside is a painted arrow. And that's right here. And this painted arrow is sometimes called the shed. And sometimes we want to line up the red. We want to put red in the shed. And you'll hear that later in my presentation as we go on. Here, let's take a look at this map. This map is what's called a quadrangle, and it is a topographical map, and it has all these little squiggly lines on it, and it has some streets in the pink down here, and you can see some different symbols. And basically what a topographical map does is it takes a two-dimensional printout, and when you understand these little squiggly lines, the topography or the topographical lines, you'll be able to picture a three-dimensional image if you understand what these lines are. So I'm going to switch to this map, which is behind it, and we see different map symbols, different parts of the map are circled here in red. But looking down here, up here at the top of a topographical map, United States Department of the Interior tells us who made the map. And if you look down here on the bottom, we have the scales. This is a scale of 1 to 24,000. And that means that 1 inch of this map is 24,000 inches in reality. So you can understand, and then it has the scales. And these scales will line up with the scales on your compass. Over here we have an overall that this is an Ohio map and approximately the location of it right there. And then back over to this map because I blanked it out. Here's a little brief explanation or the key with road classifications and to help you understand that. So I printed out, one of your handouts is a whole bunch of map symbols. They look like this. You could use your map symbols. We'll go back over here with our map symbols. And let's see what we can find. Right here, the letter L on this map. You see the letter L and what's circled right there? That is an improved road. It has solid lines. That is an actual street located in, if you look down here, Boston Heights, Ohio. And we can go over here and the letter A. Here are contour lines. Now, something about these contour lines you need to understand is that each line is located an equal distance apart. So for every one of these lines, these two brown lines are 10 feet apart, according to this map. So we see these are nice spread out, 10 feet, 10 feet, 10 feet. So the distance from one line to another is 10 feet. But when you come over here, they start to get closer together. And now look at the 10 feet. Look how close together. So what does that tell us? That tells us this is a very steep area. And this over here is kind of a flat area. Also, if we look over here, right here to the letter F, you can see a straight line with some little tick lines on it. This is railroad tracks. Then to come down here to R, we see a stream coming out from the steep areas and going into what is actually the Cuyahoga River. Okay. Another example of something. Can you see up here the letter K? The letter K has some dots with some dashes. These are actually power lines. And you see this little double dashed road right here? This is actually an unimproved road. In other words, it's not paved. So let's look over here to the letter P. What are these shapes? If you look on your guide, you'll see that these are actually buildings. These are actually buildings that are in place and they can be seen from the air like this. Same with when you look around these streets up here. See these little square dots? These are actually residential houses. So all these things can be told by your map. Now look over here. Wait, what's this? They have a different color. Why is this pink and this black? Well, this map was updated, and this shows you the difference between the updated material is in pink or purple, and the material that was there before the map was updated is in black, and that's how they differentiate that. You can see right here, there's a big building, and it's got a little pennant flag on it. And if you look on your thing right there, that would actually be a school building. And then you could come over here, and it may be hard to see, but if you have a building like that that doesn't have a pennant and it has a cross sign, that is a religious building or a church. So these are different map symbols right here, and these are two quadrangles of the area that we're broadcasting to you today from. So now, I want you to get your handouts out. And I want you to find the handout that looks like this. Do you have this handout? Did you print this out? This is going to help you orientate a map. It's going to help you understand that, first of all, we go back down to the map real quick. Down at the bottom of the map, we have this little arrow symbol here, and we can see by the star, this star means true north, and we have the little initials M and N with the difference. And this M and N is magnetic north. M, magnetic, N for north. And at this time, this was a 7.5 degree difference. Okay? So how do we compensate the map, which is set up to true north, and the compass, which is pointing to magnetic north? We can use this worksheet. So basically what I want you to do is get your base plate compass out and get this worksheet. And what you want to do is you're going to want to set your compass down. And if you can get in there on the dial there, the first step you're going to want to do is bring your dial to your direction of travel arrow to be north. So we can see north is right here. Here's my direction of travel. And if you look, when I spin my dial, do you see the white line that does not move? Are you able to see that? There's a white line between the 340 and the north that doesn't move. That's the index line. And that's the line that you would put a bearing on and help you to be exact. So I'm going to put my north directly on the index line. See, there it's not there, and I'm bringing it over, and there it is. So once we do that, I want to take the edge of my compass and I want to put it on the edge of my map or the edge of your worksheet like this. Nice and straight. Okay, now if we were doing this on the real map, we would use this edge or one of these grid lines. But for what we're doing, we're using this blank worksheet because it's a little bit easier to understand. So basically, we know the map is north because of this. Up here, we have this compass rose telling us north, south, west, and east. And now back over to our compass, we have north, south, east, and west. So, but look, our magnetic needle is pointing that direction. So what we want to do is spin the map little worksheet and the compass together until they line up. We want to put the red needle into the painted needle, or we want to put the floating red in the shed. Kind of looks like a little house or a little shed. So we spin this around until they both line up. And that's not lined up, but this is right here. And now this map or this worksheet agrees with our compass. That now true north on the map is lined up with magnetic north on the compass. So now that we do that, we would want to be able to use our map to travel from one point to another. So let's pretend like this is a school, like we saw, and this is a lake. So this is our position, P for position, and D for destination. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our compass, and we're not messing with the dial. We're just going to come over here, and we're going to line the straight edge up between the P and the D. The position that we're at, and the D for the destination that we want to go. And so now what we need to do is take this dial without moving the map, without moving the base plate. We want to spin the dial and line the dial back up with the floating needle. So now we know, if we could see right here, our degree reading is approximately 51 degrees. Now, how do you say, Mr. Garey, how is that 51 degrees? On a compass dial, do you see the little white painted lines? These white painted lines are all degrees in even numbers. So between the two lines is the odd numbers. So we see the 40. We see the next big line is 50. The next one over here is 60. So we actually go, every white line is an even number. So it would be 50, 52, 54. But we're between the two. So about 51 degrees. So now I could tell another trailman, I could say, everybody set your compasses to 51 degrees, and they could do it without going through this process. So now what we're going to do is you're going to take your compass and you're going to hold it to your body with the direction of travel arrow in the way you want to go. And what I'm going to do is turn myself and the compass at the same time. And I'm going to spin myself around. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. And I'm going to go this way a little bit. And I line the two up. And from my position to my destination is straight ahead. And if you can get that on everybody's compass, what you would then do is look up and I would say, hey, I see a big tall pine tree out in the distance. Let's walk to that pine tree. It's 51 degrees. And we walk to that pine tree, and then we would again do this again where we take the bearing. We don't mess with our dial. We're still traveling to our destination. And we line the two up. We find the next mark, and we keep traveling. And you can navigate, you can walk through the wilderness that way. All right? So it's a combination of understanding what the bearing is, how to take the bearing, while you read your map. Now here's a sample of the map of our area. And this map right here, we used topozone.com. Trail life leaders or trailmen, you can go to Topozone and you could print out the map in your area. And if you look right here, it might be a little fuzzy, there is our home base. This is Valley View Village Church. I don't know if you can see, there's a little cross sign on there. We'll set it down here so it's easier on the cameraman. But we can see right here. And this is our location. We have a Tinkers Creek Road right here. We have a very steep hill behind our church. And some points of interest up behind our church on the top of this hill is an old settlers cemetery from back in 1810. And you should have a map like this of your area where you're hiking or spending time in the wilderness. Keep it in your backpack with your compass. So this map is also downloadable. You should have printed it off. It's best if you print it in color. And so that's where we're at right now. So we are going into the questions and answer part of our presentation. So if you have a question, I'm going to be able to answer it for you, and we'll be able to interact that way on our webinar.